think on some level, the Mets tried to control this to avoid the influx of Yankee questions. You got one at the end. And then, of course, you broke into the scrums, and you can do whatever you want to do at that point. But I think it was very the press conference didn't match the magnitude of the moment.
And my favorite thing to come of it, and this is what I wanted more of, like, there are two sides to it. I know he's being unveiled as a Met. Sure, that's great. And, like, yeah, you get to talk about winning and the family stuff. That's great. And seeing him in the jersey. But there's a story here that he left the Yankees as well. And the number one question in the press conference that I wanted to hear was, have you talked to Aaron Judge? It was the last one that they asked before the scrums. And the answer was, no, I haven't talked to any of those guys, which I think gives you some insight to Juan Soto being just cold-blooded, which I personally, BT, love. And you wonder, though, how that translates. Remember, the Mets last year were all about chemistry and OMG and loving each other. Hey, Soto's no nonsense. I'm not messing around. I love my family. When I'm at home, I'm going to play dominoes with them and go out to Italian food, whatever Heyman wrote in the Post, which I thought was a good insight. 26-year-old kid doesn't care about going to club and all those different things. I love that. If you're going to make an investment, that's what you do. But also maybe shows you that, hey, you know, those relationships that you would think, like we think on the outside, he's going to be talking with Judge all the time.
Yep.
Hasn't talked to anybody from the Yankees since the season ended?
That is definitely a little bit odd for sure. I don't begrudge Aaron Judge for not jumping in and doing that. I know some have issue with it. I respect it. I can see why some people would say, hey, you're the captain, take more of a primary role here in the re-recruitment of Juan Soto. I don't. It's not that I don't understand that, but I do think that the general reaction to, you know, all the other stuff, the text or the lack of text, I do think it's very much a reflection of society. Everybody's up in their emotions. Relax. I mean, I understand we wanted a little more juice at the press conference. I did it, you did as well. But it's about Juan Soto being a Met. Everybody's fixated on the other stuff, the click stuff, the call stuff, the this stuff. Get over it, dude. Yeah, I mean, what is the big damn deal?
You don't think that that's telling, though, that a guy who played an entire season with a team that appeared to be having great relationships, great fun with that team, goes into free agency and doesn't talk to anybody from the team?
I think what it tells me is that
just it's human nature, BT. If you and I broke up one day, whatever it may be, they change shows like, what, we're not going to talk to each other ever again?
No, that wouldn't happen. No.
Or even like, hey, congrats, BT, for whatever's now.
No, I get you. It's I don't know. It is a little different. First of all, he was here 1 year. We're already past that.
Right.
I mean, they do travel together, so there's time on the bus.
It's just so weird. Like,
but think about the stuff that you and I talk about during the commercial breaks, like real life stuff, our kids and our family and sicknesses and stuff. Apparently not. And if they did, and then it wasn't followed up by Aaron Judge, then I might be a little more disappointed, because there was then there would be a window of more intimate, interpersonal relationship that could have been, this is not the right word, but exploited to maybe increase the odds of bringing him back. I get what people mean when they levy some criticisms toward Aaron Judge. I think it's more possibly, although I don't agree with it, but I certainly understand why some people are a little ticked off. Get over it. He's no longer here. He's a Met.
Yeah, I don't blame Judge at all.
No, I completely exonerate Aaron Judge.
It's weird, but I'm not. It's not Judge's fault.
No. Aaron Judge has a couple of different jobs. Aaron Judge, as a baseball player, is number one, to produce, and then beyond that, as the captain, to be a good leader and to represent the franchise and represent his values and virtues in a great way. And I don't know a better person than Aaron Judge in terms of that regard. But, you know, Juan Soto, now you guys will get a little taste of it, and right now it's a beautiful thing for the Met fan. He is a Met. The uniform did look good on him. You know, he's a stud. Yeah. He's a stud. But you know, when something, and eventually something will go wrong. I'm not saying it could be for the first year, but you know, eventually the Mets will take a downturn, or he'll be a little dissatisfied, or whatever. And then you have to wonder how that callousness, that calculated, premeditated sense of business with zero emotion, how that maybe impacts his Mets tenure.
Also, how his contract and all the perks that he got impacts the current members of the Mets, whether it's how Pete Alonso feels right now as a free agent, whether it's how Lindor feels. Like, they could say one thing publicly, and I'm sure that they're excited to a certain extent, but it's a lot of ego you have to check aside. You're Francisco Lindor. You were the guy. You just bonded the relationship with the Met fans this year, the My Girl, all that stuff, MVP type season.
Yep.
Now all of a sudden nobody cares because I'm not saying nobody cares about him. Obviously, he's a big part of what they're doing here, but this is the Juan Soto show now. And Soto,
that's why I would name Lindor captain this offseason.
Yeah, it's a good point, too.
I really would.
And they talked about
one of the reasons.
Yeah, they talked about it yesterday on SNY. I think it was Martino who said that the dynamic is going to be similar to what the Yankees had with Judge being the vocal leader and the captain, and Soto's the quiet, big presence and big bat. Well, that's what it's going to be with Lindor and Soto here. But look, if they don't win, they're going to be in trouble. And a couple of things before we get to the calls here, BT. Specifically, we didn't find an answer. I know that it was just a press conference and the scrums and the one-on-ones and all that. I don't think in all the stuff that I saw or read that I got an answer about, did Soto want to be the man? Was there any part of him that left the Yankees or wanted to go to a spot, forget about even leaving the Yankees, wanting to go to a spot where he can be the man, understanding the magnitude of what it means if you win with the Mets versus what you would have done if you won with the Yankees? Just another star to win with the Yanks, whereas if you win with the Mets, you're the freaking guy. Where was that? We didn't get that answer.
We didn't get that. And listen, there's a couple things we didn't get. Again, I was disappointed. It was very underwhelming. I was, forget about Yankee hat, Met hat, just as a passionate, 40-plus year baseball observer, I couldn't wait to hear this. I didn't think the questions were particularly good. I thought the answers were, fairly robotic and benign.
Did you like his message to Yankee fans?
I mean, honestly, Sal, it doesn't mean much to me, and I don't dismiss it. I'm not going to get rude. Like, it doesn't move me in a way that, like, I don't need to feel good about Juan Soto's departure.
Right.
I don't need him saying, "Hey, I really appreciate that." I respect it. I think it was a nice, classy gesture when he was asked about that, and I certainly don't dismiss it and I don't marginalize it. But it doesn't do anything for me. It's like, okay, maybe it took me, and I'll speak for myself here, a little longer to realize that for him, it was just pure business. Not that I ever bought into the magnitude of the pinstripes will keep him there. That's going to be the magnet. I never went that deep, but I'm like, well, maybe he's going to love this Yankee thing. He didn't care, and I'm okay with that. That's fine. Go be a stud in Queens and be a great man.
I would have followed up that, Yankee, I just want to thank the fans, whatever, which was, like you said, a nice thing to do. But I would have followed it up with asking him, Juan, do you understand? Now you're a villain. Like, not only are you a hero in this town for one side of the fan base.
That's true.
You're a villain. Like, how do you feel about that those fans that you're thanking that did love you, that you embraced, that embraced you a year ago, they now can't stand you. You're the biggest villain in the New York Yankees, maybe history, but certainly right now.
Now, I don't know what he would have said to that, and we'll get these calls here, but think about this. What he would have said to me is completely immaterial, because if he doesn't care about any of the relationships that he crafted in the year that he was in the Bronx, then do you think he really cares about how Yankee fans perceive him? No.
But I would have liked to have heard him say it. I'm with you, BT. I don't think he cares, but that to me shows that he's that cold-blooded assassin that you want. He gives zero you-know-whats. Dude, this guy, he's not intimidated by anything, but the fact that you could spurn the Yankees to a certain extent, I don't think this was about them, but I'm just saying he's doing something.
He spurned them.
Yeah, okay.
He spurned them.
Well, I don't think he did it on purpose, but my point is, I want to know if he's aware. I don't think he gives a crap, but if he's aware of the magnitude of the move that he just made, spitting in the face of the Yankees, figuratively.
Sure.
Spitting in the face of the Yankees to go with the Mets. It's never happened before. And now having the Yankee fan hating you, he's the one guy who can handle it, I believe.
Yep.
But I wonder if he's aware of the magnitude of what he's done.
Well, if he's not, he'll feel it when he digs into the batter's box in the Bronx for the first time, and it is a venomous, the depth of the sporting hatred will be felt. And if he doesn't know by then, he'll find out that night.
BT and Sal on the Fan, our friends at Town Fair Tire. Remind you that at Town Fair Tire, you always get the guaranteed lowest price on name brand tires from Connecticut to Maine. Nobody beats Town Fair Tire. Nobody. Dave is in Maplewood, New Jersey. What's up, Dave?
Hey, guys. How are you? I've been a Yankee fan for 50 years, and I think maybe I have a little different perspective on this. Hopefully
Yep, go for it, bud.
Can you? Yeah.
Yep. Yes, sir.
Yeah, so first of all, obviously wanted to keep Soto. He's a phenomenal offensive player. Watching his at-bats, they were great all year long. Great player. But, the thing he said in the press conference that I think gives away to me, he was never coming back to the Yankees. The fact that he never talked to his teammates since then, I don't think he was coming back. And I think he and Boris, to their credit, they played the Yankees, but it's not a slap in the face in the Yankees. It really hurts the Mets. I mean, I don't care about the money, but they used the Yankees to drive up the price and make Cohen pay an extra $150 million.
Yeah, it means nothing to Cohen.
Whoa, what do you mean he paid?
But listen.
Hold on. How did he pay an extra?
The Yankees weren't involved. Because if he said, "I'm not going back," to the Yankees,
Dave, there were three. Dave, there were 3 teams that were over $700 million.
I hear you, but listen.
Do you? I don't know. I don't know if you do. It's the Yankees.
Well, I really want you.
Dave, the
I
Yankees.
really want you to hear this.
Yeah, go ahead.
If you listen.
Go ahead.
Because as a Yankees fan, there's been a obviously big narrative about the Mets winning. As a Yankees fan, I'm happier they just go into the Mets than the Dodgers or the Red Sox. The Mets, I know you guys think that the Mets and the Yankees are a big rivalry. The Yankees fans, we judge our team by whether we win championships or not, not by whether or not we have a better season than the Mets. I could care less about that unless we're playing them in the World Series.
Dave, the Yankees got worse, and thanks for the call.
Yeah, definitely thanks for the call. To be fair to that, and I hear you, and I kind of agree mostly. The difference is up until now, the Yankee fan never had to process the Mets. They never had to compute in their minds like, oh, the Mets might do this or the Mets are doing that. It was an afterthought. It was like, all right, the little Mets, and okay, we're here and they're there. Perceptually, that's changed. Now, that doesn't mean that it's going to necessarily change on the field, and if it does, then that's a different battle. But until it does, it hasn't. I think that you are underrating, and you do have to get over it, or those who haven't gotten over it yet. You have to at least calculate and acknowledge the fact that the Mets took your guy. You have to acknowledge that.
And also, let's forget the Mets for a second. Dave, to your point, you're not worried about the Mets as a Yankee fan, right? They're not a rivalry. They don't play in season, but the Subway Series, whatever it may be, it's not a big deal. No divisions. The Yankees just lost one of their best players. You're happy about that? I know everybody wants to talk about Kyle Tucker. We'll get into that. It's not happening. It didn't happen yet. You want to talk about Bellinger and what's next? The Yankees right now are worse than they were a week ago. They tried to get Juan Soto because they believed it was going to make them a better team to win a World Series. They weren't back to a World Series since 2009 until they got Juan Soto. Doesn't mean you can't build a team better without him, but right now the Yankees are worse without Juan Soto. There's a lot of work to be done. That's the bigger issue.
See, there's an interesting... The Yankee fan right now is in a very interesting space because... The initial shock of the signing has worn off a little bit. I mean, that's just natural over time. A couple of days it dissipates, whatever. The disgust or the rage or the shock value. All right. So now, though, the Yankee fan, while still aware of what happened, is suddenly re-energized based on the prospects of what could happen.
Right.
Okay. And that's exciting. And I think a lot of Yankee fans are, I don't know if a lot, but there are a decent amount of Yankee fans who are where I am. While I would have liked to retain Soto, I'm very intrigued by Plan B. And Plan B up until 2 days ago didn't even include Kyle Tucker. So where it's going to get potentially dangerous for the Yankee fan is if none of this stuff happens. Like if Tucker's not dealt or he's dealt to the Cubs and Bellinger's dealt somewhere else and Walker goes, it's an interesting bubble of protection because there's still very viable options for the Yankees to, I think, be better 1 through 9 than last year. But if those things don't happen, then the pain's going to be different. And
multiple things. Let's just say they traded for Tucker. Okay, now you're in a good spot because Tucker essentially replaces Soto, and now you're probably going to give up Heel.
Yep.
At the very least, and then you have Fried in the rotation. So you're kind of a wash from where you were last year. Tucker versus Soto, Fried versus Heel. Then you need more on top of that, like you say, Walker or Bellinger. Yep. Okay, right. So we'll see. But I just have a tough time with hearing the Yankees. Yankee fans are excited and they're happy and they don't care about Soto because of the money or because he's going to the Mets when you just lost one of the best players that you've had, one of the best players in the sport, and the player that has been the difference. Judge has been here since 2017 with Giancarlo Stanton, who's coming off an MVP year when they got him with the Marlins in 2018, with signing Garrett Cole, and yet all those major, big-time moves weren't good enough to get the Yankees back to a World Series since 2009 until Juan Soto entered the equation. It doesn't mean that they can't build a better team. I'm aware of you can build a team and get to a World Series without Soto. Also, though, look around at the league, BT, the star power. Like, the Dodgers have multiple guys. That's why this is such a huge move for the Mets. They needed a guy to be able to pair with Lindor. Now they have the guy, plus Lindor was an MVP candidate. The Dodgers have 3 or 4 of those guys. The Yankees had 2. Now they got 1. So the Yankees...
For now. Understood.
Right. And it's not like they're out there growing on trees. That's why Tucker gives you hope, because he's won, but they better get him. Brian is calling from Manalapan. What's up, Brian?
Hey, guys, how's everything?
Good. What's up?
Just want to say fantastic take on the Yankees losing the star. I don't understand. Yankee fans can act like there's not a rivalry between Mets and Yankee fans. There 100% is. I'm a big Met fan. I was ecstatic to see Soto come over to the Mets. But all the Yankee fans now acting like we didn't want him anyway are just butthurt Yankee fans that are mad that their owners didn't go to the length.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I don't like that term there, Brian, that you used. And thank you for the call.
With the butt?
Yeah, you can't say it. That's
Sure
just
you
like,
can.
Why?
Is that bad?
Yeah, it's...
Really? Of all the things that we
I just
say?
think it's such... That one? Yeah, I feel like it's such a...
blinked over that one.
Yeah, I've heard it before. I'm not saying he was trying to be, dirty or anything like that. It's a poor term.
Who the hell are you?
What do you mean?
Look at I'm saying the truth. This guy that I'm sitting next to. Think about all the things that we say.
I know,
that was bad.
Do you know what the meaning of that is? Like, think about what... Yeah. Okay.
Well, I mean, I'm
should it be said on the radio? It's also just like a childish thing. Like, what are we, 15? I mean, come on. Anyway, not a huge deal, but I don't like that. I don't like the term that he used. Yeah. You've used that term on the air?
I don't use that, but I mean, I've said, hey, the Yankees bent so and so over.
All right. Well, I mean, I don't necessarily love that either, but I'm not going to dump it. You're a host. You could say what you want.
Did I miss something? Was that bad? Was that bad?
I thought it was perfect.
Yeah.
I thought he nailed it.
Yeah. The one thing that I will say, though, and I understand, like, the Yankee fan will try to get in the head of the Met fan, and the Met fan is the last call they're doing. We appreciate the call. We'll try to get in the head of the Yankee fan. You don't know exactly what the Yankee fan's feeling. You can surmise, you can guess, you can piece it all together. And by the way, neither do I. I mean, I can't speak for everybody. I can take the temperature and have a general sense. I think the Yankee fans kind of moved on. And maybe it's, protection mode, maybe, self-preservation to an extent. Maybe it's what I said before about the strong anticipation that multiple moves are coming that could make the Yankees more dangerous 1 through 9. I don't know. I never really leaned into from a Yankee perspective, a Yankee-Met rivalry. My only time was Keith and Donnie. That's it.
Right.
I mean, I really never felt that against the Mets.
I do think now, first of all, it's not a rivalry on the field. It's more an off-the-field thing in this town. But I do think now, for the first time, the Met fan is not concerned with the Yankees. Or at least that should be the feeling. Like, the Yankees got their issues. They got a lot less dangerous in a lot of people's eyes without Soto. They could go get Kyle Tucker and build a good team, sure. But right now, the big, bad, evil Empire Yankees, that's like a thing of the past.
No, that's the Dodgers. Yeah. That's no longer the Yankees.
Exactly.
I totally agree. I'll tell you what the Met fan, and maybe this is something that we need to get into, obviously, here on the show. What the Met fan should be concerned about, in my opinion, is if there's not another good press conference within the next month or so, Mets aren't a playoff team. They have so many more moves to make. Great start with Soto, and no, I don't think that that's the end, by the way. I strongly believe that more moves are coming.
I do want to
get better because their roster is not looking that good.
Well, it sounds like they promised him that from yesterday, all that take. We'll get to that when we come back and continue with the calls as well. 888-808